No plus ones for the help, he smirked. Standing in the arched doorway of the glass ballroom, tux tailored too tight around his pride, my ex-wife's new husband barely looked at me when he said it, just sipped his champagne like I was a smear on his cuff. My hand didn't flinch. My breath didn't quicken. I'd been insulted before. This was amateur work. I was about to respond when the valet rushed up behind me. "Sir Chairman, shall we park your Bentley in your reserved spot?" The world hiccuped. Smirk gone. Just a blink, then confusion, then realization. The glass in his hand trembled, barely. I smiled. Small, almost polite. "Yes, let the gentleman park it." I handed over the keys. He hadn't noticed the name stitched inside the jacket, or the gold pin resting near my lapel. He wouldn't have recognized Power if it signed his paycheck, because it just had. She used to run her fingers through my hair and whisper things like, "We'll build something no one can touch." Turns out she was already building, with someone else. The affair wasn't the betrayal. Affairs are symptoms. No, the betrayal was how she made me small. Over time. Subtly. The way she suggested I network more while funding her lover's startup with money from our joint account. The way she said, "It's not about titles," while she moved into higher rooms with newer men. The way she laughed when I said I wanted to start my own firm. Not everyone's meant to lead, love. That one stuck. I swallowed her lies like wine, rich, slow, eventually bitter. By the time I learned the truth, she was already wearing someone else's last name like a trophy. A man who'd mocked me at parties before I ever knew he was the one she let into our bed. I didn't confront her, or him, not then. I did what quiet men do. I listened. I took names at galas, asked harmless questions, noted who laughed too hard at their jokes, tracked funding rounds, cross-referenced shell cores. I built a file thicker than her wedding album. I learned he bought her the ring with money raised from investors who thought they were funding green tech. Turns out the only thing green was the trail of laundered money threaded through her father's real estate empire. That empire had cracks. Cracks I could buy. So I did, quietly. I bought debt under LLCs. I hired the accountant she once mocked for being too ethical. I found every board member she'd ever badmouthed and offered them something her ego never could: security. While she planned galas and garden parties, I was planting mines. By the time she was legally his, everything else legally belonged to me. 3 weeks before the gala, I made it official. A full acquisition. Their tech firm, his little pride project, sold to a conglomerate I advised. He didn't know I was behind it. Not until the morning I walked into the boardroom as chairman. He called it a hostile takeover. I called it restructuring. I waited until his voice cracked mid-threat, then slid the paperwork across the table. Signed, sealed, notarized. His exit package already printed. His jaw twitched. My hand never moved. I could have gloated. I didn't. That wasn't the point. That would come later. At the gala, she wore gold. Always did when she wanted attention. She didn't see me at first, too busy basking in curated admiration. But he did. His eyes locked on mine across the room like a man spotting his reflection in a casket. I walked toward them slowly, letting the room open. She turned, froze, then smiled like none of it ever happened. "Didn't expect you here," she said, feigning lightness. "I own the building," I said. Seemed rude not to show. Her face cracked, just a little. He stepped forward. "That valet, he must be confused." "He's not," I said. "That Bentley parked in the reserved chairman's spot? Mine." Silence fell like snowfall. Cold, icy, muted. A woman nearby whispered my name. Recognition rippled through the crowd. I looked down at them, both dressed like royalty, both drowning in public disgrace. Then leaned in, low. "You said I wasn't meant to lead," I whispered. "Turns out, I just wasn't meant to follow you." I walked away before they could respond. I didn't need applause, just silence. Outside, the air was clean. The valet handed me the keys like I was someone important. I wasn't, once. I was a shadow at her side, an afterthought, a footnote. Now, she was the one watching from behind glass. She married a man for power. I became power. Funny how quickly people forget where they came from. Even funnier, how clearly I remember. I slid into the car. The engine purred like a secret kept too long. As I pulled away, I didn't look back. I didn't need to. She would never forget me again. Not now. Not after tonight. Not after the smirk died in her husband's mouth and mine began.